I've seen a couple of TBR videos on YouTube in the past, but I haven't been like an avid viewer of them. So I don't know how they work. I don't know what the rules are. I'm just gonna do my own kind of TBR thing. As you may have seen, I have a total of 5 books on my TBR. That's not my actual TBR number. I probably have thousands of books on my TBR because, let's be real. But just put them in the frame a little bit more so it looks like I'm not staring into the abyss. These books in my current TBR, or like my mini TBR, are basically books that I recently got, and I'm a huge mood reader. Everybody knows this. I have to be in a very particular mood to read certain books, or any book rather. I just sit on books for months, so yeah. Anyway, hopefully somewhere along the line somebody's gonna be like, hey, what'd you think of that book? You talked about that book. I'm very interested in what your thoughts are, and that will sort of motivate me to actually sit down and read some books. Because you would think as a bookworm I would actually do that, and I don't do that quite as much as I should. Let's start with the one right on top, the smallest one. This is Elevation by Stephen King. The reason why I picked this one up was because it's really small. Not only is it small, but it's a small read. It's a short read. It's not even 200 pages long. The print is like quite large for the average book, especially for a book this like physical size. Yeah, and basically what it's about, like the first, like when you read the blurb, the first thing that pops out is that it is based in a town called Castle Rock. And if you didn't know, there is a TV show called Castle Rock on Hulu, which is based off of Stephen King worlds. So I immediately was interested in this. It sounds kind of quirky and funny as opposed to horror, as you would think Stephen King would write about. In the blurb, it's talking about a person who is losing weight, but they're not looking any thinner. They're like weighing themselves, wearing clothing, that like really heavy clothing, and they're the same weight. So it's kind of like, it seems supernatural, but in a funny sense. This would be weird in real life, but reading about it, it's sort of quirky and funny. I don't know, it sounds very, very interesting. We'll see how this goes. I actually started it, and I'm 23 pages in, so progress, people. Next book. Oh, The Night Circus. Everyone knows who Erin Morgenstern is. I have never read anything by Erin Morgenstern, and I have a friend at work, a work friend, who can't stop talking about this woman. I decided to cave and get into the hype of this just because she gave it such a rave review, and I haven't finished reading it. I did start it, and I hope I don't have to explain what this is about, or if you've never heard of The Night Circus, it's about a circus. Some slightly spooky stuff happens. It's magical for sure. It's sort of like the mystery behind a circus. It's not your average circus type thing. And I started it. Where am I in this? 27 pages. I didn't get far, and I started this back in the end of November, I would say. I have a problem. I don't know why I can't get into this book right now. I think when I started it, it was around the holidays, and I really thought it would be a great holiday read where it was like nice and cozy, and you know, all the decorations were up for Christmas and it's snowing outside and things like that. But it's just not the holidays anymore, and so I can't really get into it, I think, because of my extremist mood tendencies with reading books. But I will get back to this. I don't know when, I don't know how. I'll do my best. I do want to know what the hype is about. So I'm going to keep this on my TBR. And please, y'all, somebody pray for me and get me to read this book. So it's called The Vegan Starter Kit by Neal D. Barnard, MD. It's not exactly a TBR read, so to speak. It's more of like a reference type book that I want to use it for, because I have been vegan since the beginning of 2020, and so I've got the gists down of the vegan lifestyle, but I definitely want to go through this and see if I find any fun new information. And it is quite informative. Like, you'll see, like, there's text, but there's also graphs and things like that, and I find that very interesting. I also listen to a podcast called The Exam Room, and this doctor is a guest on that podcast quite often, and he's very, very intelligent. He shares a lot of super interesting facts about the vegan lifestyle, and so I feel like I'm going to find something really interesting in here. This was actually given to me by a work friend. Thank you so much to that work friend, you know who you are, who gave me this. And it's actually published by the publishing house that I work at, so that was pretty cool to learn as well. So technically this is on my TBR, but it's not really going to be something that I'll sit down and read from cover to cover. It'll be more so like a reference book. Okay, next book. This book, Black Dahlia Red Rose. So, I recently went to an event at work. It was an author event, and there was this girl who is an author of a true crime novel. It's coming out later this year. I'll talk about it when that book actually releases, but I just became so thrown back into the true crime world. I've kind of distanced myself from it for a bit, just because, again, mood reader. I just wanted to pick up another true crime book in the meanwhile, because I can't wait until fall to read about something true crimey when you've got me in that true crimey mood right now. So I went to the bookstore, I found this book. I thought it'd be really interesting because I have read a lot about the Black Dahlia case, and I know this is an unpopular opinion about true crime, but I like to read about unsolved murders. I love the mystery behind like disappearances and unsolved murders. I know it sounds really weird, but I find them fascinating. And I think the story is extremely fascinating. We'll see how this goes. This is going to be actually the first book that I start on my TBR pile. I know I started a couple of books already, but this is going to be the one that I actually like dive into right after this video. And if you don't know about Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, I highly suggest, if you're a true crime fan, to check her story out. Trigger warning, if you see some photos, there's some really graphic photos. Last book. And this book, I cannot believe I actually found it. My last book is The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek. Okay, so I would have never heard of this book, maybe like a month ago. But the reason why I know about this book is because I do now watch the YouTube channel that the authors of this book run. That's Rhett and Link at Good Mythical Morning. And so I went to my local bookstore, and it just so happened they had one copy of it. It sounds really, really funny, actually. So I don't know why I was surprised. They are comedians, they're hilarious. But the title, The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek, made it seem like it was like some really, really eerie mystery. And it is a mystery, I will say. But it's more of like a quirky mystery, sort of like the Stephen King one. And so it's about two kids with freakishly similar names to the authors, hee. And, you know, they live in a town where some weird stuff is going down at their local school. It's a local reformatory school, actually. Reformatory school. So it's sort of like, hey, what's going on? There's some suspicious stuff happening at these schools with the kids. And, you know, everybody knows the secret, but nobody's really telling. And these two kids want to figure it out. It sounds like, you know, very nostalgic, very 80s type. Nostalgia with a little mix of thriller and mystery, but it's a little bit more on the funny side, I would say. According to the blurb, I laughed more than I was spooked, which is okay. It would be a nice light read. It's about 300 pages or so, so it's actually the second largest book on my TBR pile. But yeah, it seems like a quick read regardless of its size. And, oh my god, it's a New York Times bestseller. This is the last one on my pile, and I am very excited to have a nice light read after I go through murder mysteries, a whole lifestyle, a spooky circus, and some dude who is losing weight unexplainably. That is my TBR list for now, for the unforeseeable future. Who knows how long it's going to take me to finish 5 books. We all know that it's March and I haven't finished one. I appreciate you listening to me ramble about my current reads. If any of these books look interesting to you, let me know. I will keep an eye out on that particular book to give you my thoughts. And let me know if you've read any of these books before and what you think. I know how you feel about night, Circus. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this or more videos from me in general, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when I post. And I think that's it. No appearance from Logan. He's sleeping. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.